Hello, it's Mr. Thompson here. I'm going to talk you through how to answer some questions on ratio today. I'm going to start with quite a simple one that looks like this. So, Andy and Barry split £50 in the ratio 3:2. How much does Barry get? Okay, now what I want to do to start with is to have a look at the actual ratio itself. So this 3:2 bit. What we're going to do is I'm going to draw myself three boxes. Just put that down there. I'm going to draw myself three boxes that look a little bit like this. And notice I've drawn three boxes on the left hand side, just like the ratio, and then two boxes on the right hand side, just like the ratio. Okay, so I've drawn my boxes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the amount that is being split, £50. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to split this amount equally between the five boxes that we've drawn. So we're going to do £50, and we're going to divide that by the number of boxes we've got in this case, which is 5. Now this tells me that every single box is worth £10. So what we can then do is inside each box we can write that that's worth £10. And then what you can do is you can use this to actually answer the question. Sorry, what I should have done at the start of the question is the ratio is always shared in the same order as the wording over here as well. So Andy would get the 3 parts, so I should write at the top here Andy, and then the 2 parts belongs to Barry. Okay, so now what we can do is we can use this information to answer the question. So how much does Barry get? Well, that's just the total of these two boxes here. So that's the 10 plus the 10, that gives me £20. Okay, and that's really all there is to it for that one. Let's try another one. Okay, so the second question is ever so slightly more difficult, but it's the same kind of idea. This time we've got 3 people. Amy, Beth and Chloe split £24 in the ratio 1:3:4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write these 3 names at the top. So we've got Amy, we've got Beth, and we've got Chloe. And then I'm going to draw myself 3 boxes that look a little bit like this. Move that over here. 3 boxes look a little bit like this. Okay, I'm going to try and line them up with the names. So now what we need to do is, just like last time, we need to take a look at the amount, which in this case is £24. And we want to split that equally. Sorry, I should have written this ratio in here as well. 1:3:4. Okay, and now we can look at the amount. I want to divide £24 equally between the total number of boxes. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or alternatively, you could just add the 3 parts to the ratio up. But either way, we're going to do £24 divided by 8. Now that tells me that every single one of these yellow boxes here is worth £3. So what I can then do, just as before, is draw in £3 into each one. And then we can use this to answer any sort of question. So in this case, the question asks how much did Beth get. Equally, a question could ask how much Amy would get, or how much Chloe would get. But in this case, we're asked how much Beth gets. So what we can actually do is total up all these. So the total of all these boxes is 3. The total of all these 3 boxes, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is £9, and the total of these 4 boxes is 4 lots of 3, which is £12. You can always check your answer by seeing what all these add up to, and in this case it adds up to £24, so we know we've got it right. Actually answering the question then, how much does Beth get? That's just a total of £9, so Beth gets £9, and that's our answer for that question. Okay, let's move on to something ever so slightly more difficult. Okay, so the final example we're going to look at here, you need to be careful with these sorts of questions, because as you can see from the question, Anton and Brian split some money in the ratio 3:7. Anton gets £12. How much was shared in total? Now, unlike the previous 2 questions we've looked at, we were given the total that was shared in these cases. In this one we're not. We need to find out how much was shared in total. This is a common mistake that people then just try and divide this £12 draw the boxes and try and split the £12 between those 10 boxes. Not in this case. We're going to start off with the same way though. So I'm going to put in my drawing of all the boxes. And what's going on here? And what we're going to do is, just as before, we're going to say that the first one, this is going to be Anton's, and this is going to be Brian's. Okay, and we can write in, actually they've split them in the ratio 3 to 7, hence why I've put the 3 and the 7 boxes in. Okay, so all of the boxes are worth the same amount as we've used in the previous questions. Anton gets £12, so the money we've got in total isn't represented by all 10 boxes. In this case, the £12 is just Anton's share, so that's these 3 boxes have to total up to £12, but also each of the 3 boxes have to be the same value. So what we need to do is we need to divide this £12 by 3 boxes to find out what each one of those boxes is worth, and in this case that's £4. Now in all these ratio questions, like I said, every single box is worth the same amount, so we can actually just keep writing £4 into each one. And once we've done that, we can then see that the total Anton got was £12, and the total that Brian got was £28. So the question itself, and sometimes it will ask you different things. It might ask you how much did Brian get, but in this case it's asking us how much was shared in total. So the total is just the sum of everything that was shared. So in this case that's the £28 plus the £12, which tells us that a total of £40 was shared. Okay, so be very careful and watch out for those types of questions. Okay, so in order for you to practice these types of questions, what I've done is I've made this Excel question generator. When you open the file, just up here somewhere, there'll be something that says, a little box that says Enable Content, and you must click that for all the buttons I put in there to work. So what you can do, the questions get progressively more difficult. These are the old grades, I haven't yet updated them, but the content is kind of the same. So what you can do is you can turn each of these questions on and off. Start with the easier ones. Once you've got the hang of those, you can maybe work on the more difficult ones. But if you have a go at these questions, and then I've made it so if you click show, it tells you the answers to each of these questions, and then once you've had a go at them, you can generate some more questions for you to try as well. So yeah, I hope that video has been useful. Go away and get some practice, and that's the end of the video. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye bye.